Promotion, discount, last chance. We all receive emails in our inbox with these types of messages which often evoke a very clear emotion when we read them: rejection. This is why many people don't read newsletters, reinforcing the false belief that email marketing doesn't work. However, when done correctly, email marketing can bring you more benefits than any other communication channel, but it has to be done professionally. In this video, you will learn the 4 key principles of copywriting for writing highly persuasive emails that capture your audience attention and will make them buy from you. You'll see them with examples to perfectly understand the theory and enable you to write highly persuasive emails by the end of this video. Let's dive in. It is said that a good email is like a radio show. It must have entertainment, valuable information, and an advertising spot. In addition to these 3 elements, there's a 4th key element that we'll discuss at the end. Let's go with the first one: entertainment. When you write an email, you're not just competing against the rest of the emails in the user's inbox. That would be too easy. Your email is up against a MrBeast video with millions of views, the fashion influencer sharing his life on Instagram, or silly challenges on TikTok. In other words, the person reading your email has endless content alternatives to choose from. What can you say to make them read your email instead of watching a MrBeast video? You might think providing a lot of value is key, but that's not enough. No matter how valuable your content is, if it's presented in a dull way, the user will lose interest. Consider this: we've all had that teacher who was a huge expert and shared valuable information, but did so in a boring and monotonous manner. The result? Students falling asleep in class and getting distracted. So engrave this in your mind: boring your audience in your emails is forbidden. You must add value in an entertaining manner. How do you do that? Let's look at an example. Imagine you want to write an email about the importance of overcoming failures with optimism and resilience. If you start by philosophizing like a life coach, it won't work. You need to find a story, an anecdote, a real-life example, something that illustrates the lesson you want to impart. Here's a real-life example from an email that I sent in my newsletter about dealing with failure. What do you do if a magic trick fails you in front of an audience? They asked magician David Blaine. I'm glad of it, David replied. A magician celebrating a failure in a performance? I've proven that until I miss a trick 3 times in front of the audience, I don't have it completely mastered. So when I fail, I think, well, I only have 2 more failures left to master this trick. It's a brief story that clearly reflects the concept that we want to convey. People struggle with abstract concepts, but when you share a story or an anecdote that exemplifies the idea, you move from abstract to concrete, making it more engaging and easier to grasp. In another video, we'll delve deeper into the art of storytelling. For now, remember, it's crucial to add an entertaining element to your emails, and storytelling is the best way to achieve this. So become adept at gathering personal anecdotes, celebrity stories, or intriguing facts from documentaries to communicate your ideas engagingly. But the email isn't complete yet. Once you've nailed the entertainment part, it's time to move on to the second point: valuable information. As we've just seen, in email marketing is not enough to just provide value, nor is it sufficient if your email is only entertaining. Unless you are a comedian or writer, you have to both provide value and entertain, so that the reader can learn practical lessons that will help them with their life, making them eager to read your following emails. How do you add value to your email? Once you've hooked them with their entertainment part, you need to connect that story or anecdote with the lesson you want to transmit. Taking the example of the email we were working on, once we've told the story of David Blaine, it's time to connect it with the main idea. So after the story, we add the following: a curious way to deal with failure, isn't it? How many times have you fallen apart when something doesn't go as expected after a lot of work? It's easy to feel defeated and face that failure alone. And notice that I put failure in quotation marks because you choose the meaning of this word. You can sink into negativity, or you can adopt David Blaine's mindset and see it as an experience that brings you closer to mastery and helps you grow. You can imagine which of the 2 will lead you to success in your business. Notice that this part is like a moral, similar to stories. It's important to find the balance between the entertaining part and this part with valuable information. Each has its function. The first engages the audience. It's a tool to keep them reading instead of switching to a MrBeast video. The second aims to create a sense of indebtedness in your audience, prompting them to buy from you, basically giving them practical advice that will help them in their lives. We covered a significant part of the email, but there's still 2 very important parts to go. Before continuing, if you're enjoying the video and want to delve deeper into marketing, sales and persuasion, click the link in the first comment to access the Pareto Sales newsletter. There you will receive lessons to improve your communication and sales skills. I also apply the concepts that you are learning in this video into the emails, making it incredibly beneficial for you to read them and see these tips in action. Let's now proceed with the video. The third element of a successful email or successful radio show is the advertising spot, or in simpler terms, the call to action. It's crucial not to lose sight of the primary purpose of writing emails: to sell. As we've mentioned earlier, if you do email marketing correctly, it can generate more revenue than any other communication channel. For this, including a call to action is essential. This could be a link for purchasing your course, mentorship, product, service, or whatever you offer. However, remember that people generally dislike being overtly sold to. That's the reason most newsletters we discussed initially are met with resistance. They focus on just selling. To avoid this pitfall in your emails, you've already taken two vital steps: providing entertainment and value. The third step is to seamlessly connect that entertainment and value to what you're selling. This approach ensures a congruent sale, and the reader won't feel any sort of aversion. Let's apply this to the example we were discussing. I sell copywriting services and training. How do we link what we've written about handling failures to sales training, persuasion, and copywriting? It's actually quite straightforward. You might say something like, when aiming for a goal, making mistakes is inevitable. What you can avoid is repeating the mistakes you have already made, thereby accelerating your progress. If you're keen to learn about sales, persuasion, and copywriting, while sidestepping the errors that many entrepreneurs have made, the Pareto Sales Club offers content that will fast-track your journey to becoming a master in persuasion and sales. Regards, Alberto. It's okay if what you discuss in the email isn't perfectly aligned with what you're selling. In this case, the email is about managing failures and we're selling persuasion and sales training. Two seemingly different topics, but they intersect. Even a slight connection allows you to establish a link, like we did in the email. By doing this, you make your reader perceive a sense of congruence in the sale. You've entertained them, provided value, and now they feel a sense of indebtedness. Consequently, you're offering them something related and aligned with the value you've delivered. Thus, it makes logical sense for them to buy from you. If you consistently send emails following these guidelines, it will be difficult that your audience don't consider purchasing from you eventually. And that concludes the ad spot segment. But remember, there's still a crucial component remaining. If you don't nail this fourth element, your email won't yield any results, regardless of its quality. You've probably guessed what this fourth point is. It's the subject of the email. The function of the subject is to grab the user's attention so that they open the email. It's the equivalent of a news headline. If the headline isn't appealing, no one is going to click on the link, no matter how interesting it is. As David Ogilvy, one of the best publicists in history, used to say, on average, there are 5 times as many people who read the headlines as there are who read the body of the text. By the time you've written your title, you've spent 80 cents of your dollar. That is, you have to give as much importance to the subject as to the rest of the email. What are the keys to writing a subject line that captures the user's attention? This topic is enough for a whole video that we will do, but for now you can write subjects following one of the following formulas. Saying something that goes against the general belief. For example, for this email we could say, failure is a blessing. Other examples of hooks of this type that can be applied to other topics can be, the ugly flirt more than the handsome, eating healthy is overrated, or reading books is useless. These statements are so controversial that it will be very difficult for the person who reads them to resist opening the email. However, it is important that what you say makes sense and it's congruent with the headline you have put in. There's nothing worse than failing to meet the expectation of a headline. Referencing a well-known character or trending news. Celebrities and trending news inevitably attract more attention than the unknown, so if you can include them in your subject line, take advantage of it. In this case with David Blaine is pretty easy. We could write a subject line something like, do like David Blaine and fail. And the third one is promise of a method or technique to achieve a result. It's about generating curiosity by drawing in the reader's mind a desired result that they will achieve thanks to a method that you are going to explain. For example, for this email you could put, do this to turn your failures into joys. The desired result is to turn failures into joys, and we explain the technique to do so in the email. That said, in order to write good subject lines that grab the reader's attention, you not only have to know what to do, it's also important that you know what not to do. In this case, what you can't do is put phrases that don't evoke any kind of curiosity or differentiation. For example, face failures with optimism, or don't break down in the face of failures. These are examples of bad subject lines, which are not going to capture the attention of your audience because they do not provoke any kind of emotional curiosity that will make them open the email. And that concludes the 4 key points for writing highly persuasive emails. Remember, your subject line must capture the reader's attention, ensuring they open your email instead of it getting lost in the inbox. Once open, engage them with a story to keep them hooked. Next, empower them and convey the moral of the story, fostering a sense of indebtedness. Finally, connect the email content to your product or service, making it feel logical for them to make a purchase. Before ending the video, it's crucial to bear in mind the following points when implementing what you've learned here. These tips are specifically tailored for newsletters. If your goal is to attract customers via cold email, the strategy is completely different. Also, repetition is a key element of a successful marketing strategy. If you consistently write emails with entertainment and valuable information, you will be on top of mind of your customers without depending on social media algorithms. Therefore, make it a routine to send emails in your newsletter regularly, at least once a week. With persistent effort over time, you will start seeing the results. Lastly, remember that the structure outlined in this video serves as a guideline to learn the essentials of copywriting for crafting impactful emails. However, not every email needs to strictly adhere to this format. I encourage you to follow various newsletters and observe their email styles for inspiration. In the Pareto Sales newsletter, accessible via the link in the bio, you will find emails where I apply these principles, though not always following the exact structure discussed here. So if you enjoyed the video and wish to continue learning about copywriting, marketing, sales and persuasion, subscribe to the newsletter and don't miss out on the rest of the videos of the channel. Best regards and see you next time!